winter has arrived in Denver. 23 degrees and falling. Winds out of the east. We will have snow showers during this game.
Ha! It is not 23 degrees. It's 23 degrees in our booth, but it's not 23 degrees down on that field.
76,000 plus on hand, braving the weather here in Denver to watch their first place Broncos against the first place Indianapolis Colts. And Peyton Manning will get first shot on offense as the Colts will receive Michael Moore kicking to Troy Walters. Walters to the 19 and no more. Kelly Herndon on special teams made the tackle.
Marvin Harrison leads the National Football League in receptions. The question is, how do you cover him? How do you play this guy? Do you think about playing him man-to-man? You got Delta O'Neal and Bernard Walker. This is the thing that they're going to have to confront all night long. People say they've tried to hit him. They can't hit him. He's too quick off the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you what, I don't know if there's a guy down on this field that can cover Marvin Harrison man-to-man.
Harrison leading the NFL, 89 catches coming in. Manning to throw on first down, can't find anyone. Then dumps it over the middle.
Paul brings up an interesting point. What the Colts decide to do is they've gone to a three-wide set. They're going to have Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and also Qadri Ismail, who's back, playing. And what they want to do to try and give Marvin a chance to work against the secondary so he can't get pressed is they're going to put him in the slot from time to time and let the linebackers try and figure out how to contain him instead of just the DBs.
Second and about 5. Manning with all the noise trying to change the play. James breaks one tackle, but Tyrone Poole came up off the corner and hit him in the backfield.
You know, with this defense here, they are so good and so quick. The thing that makes the Denver Broncos so good on defense, very easy. They have 3 of the fastest linebackers combined in the National Football League. These guys can move all up and down this field from sideline to sideline.
Third down, 6 for the Colts. Blitz coming, James on a little flare. First down and more to the 40-41-yard line. Tyrone Poole made another stop.
You know what makes this play work? Marvin Harrison comes off the line of scrimmage on this side of the field. 2 backs cover him. Nobody covers James. Look at this. Look downfield. Number 88 is Marvin Harrison. He's now blocking.
Well, the other side of it, too, there's Harrison. He releases. Now, James goes out. Mobley gets caught on the rush. And you're right, there's tons of space out there, Paul.
First down, Indianapolis. It's zone 41 on the opening drive. Play action by Manning. Then a late screen to James. Poole again up, messing up the timing of the screen, then Wilson and Gold clean it up.
One of the things that jumps out at you as this game begins is it looks like the Indianapolis Colts are going to want to try and establish throwing the football, similar to the way the Oakland Raiders did a few weeks ago against this defense, basically saying, we concede that you're a very good run football team, especially with the big guys in the middle. So let's try and loosen it up and spread the ball around and let the runners go into space.
Edgerrin James, 1 carry, 3 catches so far. James with another rush. Breaks it back inside across the 45, near the 47-yard line. Monte Rigor downfield to make the stop.
You know, it just seems like it would be easy to run with this football team because of the way Peyton Manning fakes the ball all the time. The linebackers have to hold because even look at this run play. Now watch Manning. Look at it carry it out. If you're a linebacker, you're downfield looking through a guy, you really don't know if he still has the ball or not.
3rd and 4. Manning wants Pollard to move. Four-man rush. Harrison with his first catch of the night. That's 90 for the season and a strike from Peyton Manning.
Easy.
That's what is so impressive about Peyton Manning. He didn't like the fact that Pollard was on the line because he felt like the pressure might get there. Watch how important Pollard is in the blocking scheme. Here he is on the right part of your screen. You see the tackle get beat clean. Adam Meadows just gets beat clean, but Pollard is right there to clean up and help out on the block.
Manning perfect so far. Manning with time again, and Poole nearly had the interception. Tyrone Poole, who has 1 sack this year, plays in the nickel, almost had his first interception.
That's double coverage on the outside. Look at this. You've got Poole out there along with Walker.
I think Tyrone Poole was concerned about trying to get his feet inbounds to keep the reception and just lost focus on the ball. He has to realize he's a defensive back. He doesn't worry about that.
Denver shows blitz. They go with a run to James. Chester McLaughlin, the veteran, former Pro Bowler on the tackle.
Edgerrin James is a patient runner. I don't think that being patient against this defense is a very good idea. I think he's going to have to speed up his moves a little bit. Doesn't have the yards this year that he's had the past couple of years. And you see even his yards per carry is down. A lot of that has to do with the fact that he has been hurt. Hamstring, ankles, coming back from a knee.
It's a tough combination for Edgerrin James. Blitz coming off the corner. Manning throws the other way, and Harrison makes the catch and gets out of bounds.
Paul, I got a question. How you talked about him? He's got 89 catches. How does he wind up one-on-one outside? I mean, how do you do this?
I said before, you don't have anybody on this football team that can cover him one-on-one. And all that Marvin Harrison ever does is he knows where the marker is. Peyton Manning knows where the marker is, the first down marker. They get to it. Whatever they get after that, that's okay. That's just a little bit of gravy.
Nobody ever got to 600 faster than Harrison, and you saw the respect for the speed by Delta O'Neal. He was backing off. James again breaks a couple of tackles, puts his head down and dives inside the 30. Let's go to Susan.
Peyton says he is always looking for Marvin Harrison, which partly explains their 55 TV connections in their 5 years together. Only one pair of teammates tops them in a 5-year span. That's Young to Rice with 59. Peyton insists Marvin is 100% reliable. He is always where he is supposed to be.
And you know, Susie, both those guys have such class. With all their success, they just hand the ball to the official and go back about their business. Manning fumbles the snap, and it looked like Jeff Saturday pounced on it. The center got right back down.
If I did all the turning around that Manning did at the line of scrimmage, I'd be dizzy. I wouldn't be able
He would.
to
He's
throw the
spinning
ball.
around. But you know what? It's not window dressing because he's in a different division. He doesn't have to fool people as much anymore. He plays against different teams, but look at all the activity. There's his center, Jeff Saturday. He's even pointing. He's pointing right, pointing left, swing around. This probably caused a little bit of the fumble. Getting under the center a little quick, a little bit of a hurry.
This will be the 12th play of the drive. 3rd and 7 from the Denver 29. James. They go with a run on 3rd and long and nearly made the first down. Bertrand Perry had to hustle downfield to make the stop.
The interesting thing talking to Peyton Manning yesterday, we're asking about, you're going to have to run the ball to win this football game. And what he said to us was, yeah, we are going to run the ball, but we're going to run the ball outside with Edgerrin James. We don't want to go up in the middle with Chester McLaughlin sitting in there. He said, we're better off trying to get to the outside, even though their linebackers are that quick.
And the other thing he talked about was what they started to do in the last couple of weeks is they started to run the ball in obvious passing situations. For example, that was 3rd and long. You'd expect them to throw. What they've done is they feel the confidence now with Edgerrin James and said, okay, go get it for us.
They're almost a whole yard, well, a half a yard anyway from making this thing. I think they just want to take time, take a look at it, and decide whether they want to try to field goal, which they have one of the better kickers in the National Football League, or go for it.
Mike Shanahan either complaining about the spot or the fact that they are giving them a measurement.
Well,
take a look at it. It's going to be almost a yard.
Peyton Manning went and asked for it. Now, it's part of the chess game that you play as a coach and a quarterback. If they'll give it to you, you take it because it's 4th down. He gets a chance to confer with Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator. Now they get to make a decision on what they want to do.
Kick a field goal.
Tony Dungy says, let's put some points on the board.
And Mike Vanderjagt will come in. He's in the worst slump of his career, missed 5 of his last 8, and he says he has no answer. But this is still the most accurate kicker in the history of the National Football League.
And he's only 3 for 8 from 40 to 49 yards, and this one will be a little bit over 40.
They've got to make the special teams coach feel real good. You know what's wrong? No.
Just trying to work through it. A 41-yard attempt by Vanderjagt to take the lead. And hooks it inside the right upright. Vanderjagt by a lot from 41 yards out. And the Colts take the opening kickoff and get 3. Colts on the opening drive get a field goal from Vanderjagt and lead it 3-0 from snowy Denver, Colorado. Peyton Manning nearly perfect on the opening drive. He said it's really important for this team to get off to a fast start, and they did. Reuben Drones to return the kick from the 6-yard line. And Drones stopped at the 29. Donnell Thompson on special teams for Indianapolis. Steve Berline made the Pro Bowl in '99 for Carolina. He has not played since 2000.
How about that sky? Is that any good?
Oh, yeah. That was before the Snow King. Berline to throw on 1st down. And throws wide of McCaffrey, covered well by Harris.
It's not like Steve Berline doesn't bring a resume into this game. For the last couple of years, he played the 2 full seasons, '99 and 2000. One of the best in the game. Brings a lot of experience, has a stronger arm probably than Greasy. And the thing is, he's a natural leader. Been around a long time, and he knows he's not the future of this football team, but like my old coach George Allen used to say, the future is now, and for Steve Berline, it is now.
And it just shows how bright Mike Shanahan is to get a backup quarterback of this quality, because most guys can't go a full year without being hurt. Berline goes underneath. Carswell up to the 38-yard line. Washington and Peterson in on the tackle. Steve Berline has been in this league for 16 years, and he's thrown for more than 22,000 yards and 141 touchdowns.
Not too bad, huh?
No, pretty good numbers.
36 of them in Carolina in '99 when he went to the Pro Bowl.
And threw for more than 4,400 yards, and then was summarily released in 2000.
And Mike Shanahan's had his share of success here as well, winning a couple Super Bowls.
Portis gets his first carry and lunges across the 40. 1st down. When Brian Greasy went down in the 3rd quarter last week, Berline came in. He threw 2 passes. He happened to get 2 touchdowns to help lead the Broncos to a 31-19 win. When he got into the huddle, he said to his teammates, "Hey guys, I've forgotten how much fun it is to run around out here." Well, when you're 2 for 2 and both the touchdowns, it's got to be a lot of fun.
I can't understand why you didn't get a perfect rating. 2 for 2, 2 touchdowns.
Yardage.
I don't care.
That rating, you can keep that. Portis swarmed under by Larry Triplett.
Clinton Portis brings a little bit of a different style of back to the Denver Broncos. You had the Terrell Davis, who has the speed and power. Then you got Olandis Gary, more of a power back. Mike Anderson, more of a power back. Clinton Portis is the guy who, once he gets one step on somebody, nobody's going to catch him. He hasn't really broken the big one yet here, but he's had a couple of them over 40 that have been close.
2nd and 8. Portis out of the eye. And Dives across the 45 to the 47-yard line. And there's a flag down. It's going to be against Denver.
You know, the one thing about this Colt defense, when you look at it, you talk to the Denver Broncos about them. A year ago, they weren't very good.
Illegal motion, setback. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And the biggest improvement on this football team is this defense. And what happens with this defense when you talk to the Denver Broncos is that they don't give up the big play. They make you play in front of them.
Well, they've added some interesting pieces. David Gibson joined the team first part of October. He's playing strong safety. Dwight Freeney has now worked himself into the starting lineup along with Chad Bradsky and Brad Scioli.
And in the last 2 games, they have allowed 1 touchdown. Line screen. Olandis Gary takes it to the 48-yard line where Nick Harper stopped him.
And if you're going to screen, the place that you want to screen at is at the #1 draft choice, Dwight Freeney. Dwight Freeney is so quick off the line of scrimmage. He's already passed the tackle. You see Freeney 93 back in the backfield. That enables him to run that screen.
He didn't know the ball was thrown.
No, he does not.
He was moving so quick.
Watch it. Here comes Freeney. Watch it. He don't allow him. Watch what he does. He doesn't even know the ball's gone. Hello.
Portis comes back in. And Patrick Hape, who made the sensational touchdown catch a week ago, is in as a tight end. And Berline has to burn a timeout early. 4:07 to go first quarter. We're in snowy Denver, where Indianapolis leads 3-0. Mile high and working on about 4 inches deep. 3-0. Colts on top of the Broncos.
Not yet, Michael.
And their orange crush jerseys.
Yes, they do. And there's Shannon Sharp. They expect him back in a couple of weeks. He's been out with a dislocated right elbow. They really haven't changed their offense without him. Berline on third down, throws. McCaffrey knew exactly where the sticks were and got the first down. For more on Berline, here's Susan.
Well, Mike, as you know, he hasn't started a game in almost 2 years, but he said he wasn't concerned about the physical conditioning because he always stays in shape. It was more of the mental conditioning. Having not played 4 quarters in a long time, the concern staying focused for 3 hours and being under the pressure of that live action, moving around in the pocket with hands reaching out to you. His knowledge, his instincts, that you don't lose.
Susie only Flutie and Testaverde, older quarterbacks in the NFL. Portis, nice cut. Clinton Portis to the Colt 38-yard line. Idris Bashir had to stop it.
This is the thing that makes the Denver Broncos so successful in their offensive line. They're not big, but watch what they do. They stretch you. They get whichever way you want to go, they'll go. And what they want then is Portis to make the move, make that one move in the backfield. But this offensive line is when they got one guy over 300 pounds, and that's it.
And when you do that, when you can run to the edges, it sets up a lot of great play action to bring somebody back across the field. In this case, if you wanted to bring a Rod Smith across the field, you'd have the opportunity off the play action.
Colts move early. Berline under pressure, throws, intercepted at the 16-yard line, intended for McCaffrey, picked off by David Gibson, who is now the starting strong safety.
I don't care how long you've been in the National Football League, you just do not throw this pass.
He tries to force it in. The play was set up for play action, and it comes out of his hands looking like a place trying to land. Unfortunately, it landed in the wrong guy's hands if you're a Bronco.
Berline with the interception. Brian Greasy coming over to consult. Gary Kubiak, Mike Shanahan. One thing that may have influenced that, Berline may have felt he had a free play. He could have felt the Colts were offsides. It looked like someone was in the neutral zone. Manning to throw, throws short and complete. Marcus Pollard is tight end.
I want to show you what they were trying to do in the last play. That's Rod Smith down bottom. That's Portis up top. This was the play they ran just before. Berline's going to try and work himself back away and then hit Rod Smith in the middle. What happens, though, is Dwight Freeney puts pressure on him, forces him out of his rhythm, and Berline just hangs one up in the middle of the field that Bashir picks off.
James. Stutter stepping his way about a foot shy of a first down. Kavika Pittman made the tackle. You know what? Is there anybody in the league who has more control of his offense or who uses that control any better than Peyton Manning?
Yes, one guy has equally as much. Guy by the name of Rich Gannon.
Yes, he does.
I believe that Rich Gannon and Peyton Manning are two guys today in football that basically run the game from the field. 30 other places, I think coaches run it from the sidelines and from the box.
3rd and less than a yard. And Manning is up to his old tricks again. Edger and James, first down.
You know, one of the things about Manning, we're talking to him yesterday, that I really love what he said. He gets the play real quick from Tom Moore. He says, we're out of the huddle quick. He said, but the one thing that we try to do is not get to the perfect play. Just get to a good play. Just get to a play that we think is going to give us enough yardage to pick up the first down. It's nothing surprising about it. All we want to do is get to a good play.
He is a master of running the offense at the line of scrimmage. Tonight starting his 74th straight game, the longest streak at the beginning of a career in the history of the NFL for a quarterback. James off the left side for a couple. Swallowed up by Lionel Dalton.
Peyton Manning will probably go back in the huddle. One of the things he does that is very interesting, he knows where the clocks are over the field. What he'll do is he'll check the 25-second, 40-second clock, walk around, especially in stadiums he hasn't been in. And this is a new one for him, so he knows the clock's running down.
That's the end of the first quarter from Denver. The Colts 3, the Broncos 0. Colts on top of the Broncos 3-0 as we start the second quarter. We were talking about Peyton Manning and his control of the offense. You mentioned Rich Gannon. He's been in the league forever. This is only Peyton Manning's 5th year, and he's done it since he was a rookie.
Yeah, but the thing about Peyton Manning, though, that he does is he studies 24 hours a day.
7 days a week. 7 days a week. That's the one thing you have to understand.
James on a little release. Al Wilson chases him down. Let's go to Susie.
Well, we know how hard Peyton studies. Well, he actually works on some of the same drills he did when he was a 12-year-old kid, like throwing from one knee. He said, as quarterbacks get older, sometimes they lose their fundamentals. So we know how much he watches film of other teams. Well, he also watches film of himself. After every practice, there's a camera that's set up just looking at him. He watches that tape twice to make sure he's holding the ball in the right position. The fakes still look good. He doesn't want to lose any of those fundamentals.
Susie, if we were that good, we'd watch film of ourselves, too.
I don't know if I want to see any film of myself.
I don't know if I want to see film of you either.
That's right. I'll watch Manning instead. Throws this one away. Pretty close to not being out of the tackle box. And Trevor Price, who likened moving from tackle to end as getting out of jail, put the pressure on.
I want to show everybody. I want to bring your attention to something. I want to show you the old clock. That's the old 40-second clock. Watch the time that Manning breaks the huddle. You wonder how he can go through all the audibilization, recognizing defenses. What he basically does is he now is at the line with about 18 seconds, plenty of time to set his team up without feeling like he's hurried or rushed.
On 2nd and 10, James. What about the commitment the Colts are making tonight to run the ball against the best run defense in the NFL?
You'll notice where they're running. They're running it at the edges. They are not running it at the middle of this defense. They're not running at Lionel Dalton or Chester McLaughlin. We haven't even called Chester McLaughlin's name, and he's really been a big part of why this defense has become #1 against the run. I think this is just setting up some play-action passes down the road for Manning.
3rd and 9. Three-man rush. And Manning rifles a completion for another first down. That is a perfect throw, and he got it to Harrison.
Let me tell you something now. Marvin Harrison, it's his 3rd pass I think he's caught. 29 straight games. This guy's caught at least 3 passes in a game. 29. And look at where he throws this ball. Orange shirts all over except on Marvin Harrison.
Remember when the Raiders completed so many passes, Gannon did? The Broncos were dropping 8 and 9 into coverage.
3 catches on the night for Harrison, and 2 on the year. James shook a tackle across the 45 to the 42.
That's the one thing about Edgerrin James that you must do. You must tackle this guy. If you've got him in a position, they've got him, look at here, almost in the loss area. And bang, they let go. He picks up 8 yards.
Ian Gold, number 52, coming across to make the play. He's running much better tonight than we did the Washington game a month ago. I didn't think he ran very effectively in that game. He looks a lot sharper this evening.
Second and 4. Manning throws wide to the tight end Pollard. The Broncos, number 1 in the league against the rush, allowing only 3.4 a carry. That's also number 1. And they have allowed 1 100-yard back this year. That was Priest Holmes. And Priest Holmes seems to get 100 against anything.
Well, he had an off day today. Priest only had 197 today, although they lost.
3rd and 4. Second time the Colts have been in Denver territory. Good protection and almost picked off. Delta O'Neal, a diving try, and couldn't hold it.
They're calling it a catch. They're saying that it did not hit the ground. It goes through Delta O'Neal's hands, bounces up in the air, and Marvin Harrison catches this. I'm not sure whether it's reviewed. It does. It bounces up. Well, we can't see from that angle, but I'm sure we will from another.
Delta O'Neal, Joe, slaps it up in his right hand. Watch his right hand slap the ball up in the air. It's on his leg. Now watch. He slaps it up in the air.
It's a good catch.
Holy cow.
Marvin Harrison found 8 million ways to make the catch. Now, I believe that what the Broncos are going to do are going to challenge it and say it's incomplete, but Mike Shanahan's going to find out that's not the case.
Now, he's got to rely on the coaches upstairs who can see that replay and say, hey, challenge it or don't.
Well, there's one other thing. When Marvin Harrison has control, does he have control of the ball when he goes out of bounds? Take a look at Marvin Harrison. Forget about this part of it. We'll go back and look at that. That ball's up in the air. Now, here's the ball in his hand. 1, 2. Yes, he does.
Oh, sure.
Boy, is that something. He has enough presence of mind to stop. Watch his feet. This is unbelievable to watch a receiver. Now you know why Rod Smith said he's the best receiver in the league.
Now, I'm not sure.
Boom, boom, out of bounds. Isn't it perfect?
There is no replay. There was a malfunction of the buzzer system.
So Mike Shanahan has not challenged the play. And that's a good job between whomever he has upstairs in the box, looking at the replay, communicating down to Coach Shanahan and saying, look, it was a catch.
He also has an opportunity to see it a little bit later on the screen here in the stadium. And that replay was such a perfect angle. He could tell the ball never hit the ground.
That's just unbelievable that Marvin Harrison stays with it, even though it looks like Delta O'Neal has the interception.
First down, Colts. Manning throws underneath, and Reggie Wayne couldn't hold it. Marvin Harrison is averaging 6 catches a game. That is the best in NFL history, above even Jerry Rice and Sterling Sharp. Jerry Rice, you would expect, and Sterling Sharp, as a flex tight end, is going to catch an awful lot of balls. Harrison is on top of all of them.
Now he's averaging this year almost 9 a game.
The ball on the play fake. It has to cover up. Denver still has a shot at it and has it. Broncos football.
He faked the ball to Edgerrin James, and supposed to take this? No. The ball comes out. Manning goes after it, and he does the smart thing. He tries to get down on the ground, but the ball goes away. Denver finally ends up with the football.
The Colts turnover stops a potential scoring drive. Peyton Manning with the fumble, and Tom Moore comes over to give him some consolation.
There's a ball. It's just like squeezing a banana out of a peel. It just slides out of his hands, and he can't catch it. And, you know, you got to remember, he plays a lot of games in the dome. Don't have to worry about the elements as much.
Denver starts from its 38 with Clinton Portis. And the rookie speedster takes it to the 45. Larry Triplett, the rookie for Indianapolis, made the tackle.
They told us yesterday, Rob Morris especially, the middle linebacker, number 94, that he said our rush defense for this game, we are very confident it's what they saw in practice. It worked. He said it worked. No mistakes were made.
I hate that. I hate when somebody sees something in practice and they think it works.
Yeah, it works.
Second and 4. Over the middle, Rod Smith. And Smith out of bounds inside the 30. 27 yards on the play.
I'm always impressed, not just with the offense, guys throwing and catching. Berline does a good job here. But you have to look down the field. Rod Smith just clearing out. Look at the guys down the field. There he is. Manages to get away from Walt Harris. But now look ahead of him. There's Clinton Portis out blocking for his wide receiver. That's why this offense can spring big plays, because they get help down the field.
Berline, little dump off, and Portis couldn't handle it. Had a nice screen set up, and Portis dropped the ball.
And that ball has got to be getting slick because there's snow on the ground. Not a lot. It's cold. I'm older than I've been used to all year.
I found it fun. When a ball starts to get a little bit wet, the leather gets tacky. I always felt like I could handle a damp ball fairly well. Now, when it's raining like crazy, it's hard. Of course, these little tiny things, and I don't know why.
Well, throw in 20 degrees and a little snow. Play action. Another screen. Portis. Check it, it's Mike Anderson. Back-to-back screens. Check it again, it's Reuben Drones. They're throwing everybody at us.
Now, they've been running the ball fairly effectively. You run the play action up the middle. This is a good individual effort by Drones, really on like a one-man screen.
He's had 3 rushes this year and 3 receptions. They've reached the Colts 20. Toss to Portis. Checked in with Susie.
Well, as we told you off the top, Portis leads all rookie rushers more than twice the total of the guy who's in second place. He's also been the toughest to tackle behind the line of scrimmage. He's lost yardage on just 6% of his carries. He plays with so much confidence. He knows what he's capable of. Mike, he doesn't think anyone can stop him.
And they wanted to bring him along slowly, and they did at the start of the year, not throw him into the fire. And he wanted to be thrown in right away. Portis again. And Rob Morris is right there to fill the hole, and you've got to be happy for Rob Morris. Former #1 draft choice who admitted that he wasn't up to the mental side of the pro game as a rookie. He was still chasing guys who had the ball, not necessarily going where he was supposed to. He took all the criticism like a man, showed a lot of class, and his game in the last 5 or 6 weeks really stepped up.
I like the last time we asked him a question. He said, well, what do you think?
Nice guy.
Yeah, he really is. He's a great guy. So we're asking you, what do you think, Rob?
And he is becoming a real good middle linebacker. Berline double pumps over the middle. Smith, touchdown.
waits.
The reason why he waits is because the offensive line picked up the blitz and did an excellent job. We talked about how good they are at run blocking balls.
And that extra point by Elam hits the upright and kicks away. A missed extra point for Jason Elam, who had the NFL record, 371 in a row. Jason Elam last missed an extra point in 1993 when he was a rookie. He had made 371 in a row, an NFL record. He has just missed the second of his career. Walters deep. A lot of room. He's taken down at the 27. We've got a timeout in Denver. 6-3 Broncos. The veteran Steve Berline doing the job for the injured Brian Greasy. Gets his third touchdown pass in 2 games, and now it's up to Peyton Manning to engineer the Colts. They're down 6-3 after the missed extra point. Hedger and James. Lost his footing and lost a yard. Monday Night Countdown at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. It's the best place to get ready for Monday Night Football. And then on ABC at 9, it's the Monday night game. Deuce Staley and the Eagles against Terrell Owens and the 49ers.
Corey Detmer gets a chance to take over now. Donovan will probably be out about 6 weeks. But if they qualify for the playoffs, he should be about ready if they can get him in.
Manning dumps it to James. When they haven't used Edgerrin James as a running back, he's been very active as a receiver.
Well, what they're doing is they're play action. They're faking to him. And what's happening, the linebackers are holding, but they still get some depth. They're fast enough to do that. And watch what happens. Edgerrin James, when he comes out, look at the linebackers. They're way downfield. So when Edgerrin James gets the ball, I mean, he's got room to run.
On that particular play, that was, by the way, Edgerrin's 5th catch, Al Wilson doesn't even pay attention to the play-action fake. He is turned and gone 15 yards down the field.
Here we're getting another measurement. It really doesn't matter.
Edgerrin James with 65 yards in total offense so far. He's already run the ball 11 times and caught 5 passes. That's 16 touches in the first half, and we still have 7:27 to go.
Which is sort of amazing because the Colts really have one guy that catches the ball. Pollard's caught 1 but dropped 1. Wayne's dropped 1. Ismail hasn't had a chance yet. You'd think that they could play closer to the line of scrimmage and not worry about the Colt receivers as much.
Third down, the Colts have been very efficient so far. 6 out of 7 conversions on third. James they want to run for. He dives, it will be close. John Mobley stopped him.
Ooh, I don't know.
He had to get to the 37-yard line. If that's over the 37-yard line, he's got it. He's got it.
Oh, you're so good at that. I'm not going to question.
Well, it's these young eyes. I just bought them the other day. They're really nice.
Brand new. They look good, too.
Hadn't put in early.
And, you know, I really like the color of them. They're better than the other ones you have.
You like the blue one or the red one?
I like the red one.
But the red one is good.
It's got a good touch.
This is a first down.
Well, I don't know, Paulo.
First down. First down. What do you want?
I just didn't know. I just want to talk about Edgerrin James. He's having himself a decent night against the #1 rush team in football. But what they're doing is they're playing it a little bit like the Raiders did. Instead of trying to pound it all the time, they're throwing it out to him, and then they hit the edges. You'll notice not running it up the middle, staying on the edges, stay away from the big guys in the middle.
Peyton Manning, play fake. Hit as he throws, he's got it complete. It's Kadri Ismail. He's been out with a knee injury, and it's nice for Peyton Manning to have him back. It gives him Ismail, Wayne, and Harrison on the outside.
This is the play action fakes we're talking about. What happens is you're going to see the play action fake this way. Manning's going to come back and roll, and Ishmael goes across the field. What they're doing is they're counting on the speed of the Denver Bronco linebackers to chase Edgerrin James. Now, all of a sudden, Ishmael runs in behind the linebackers for a big gain.
Another first down for the Colts, who have moved the ball from the opening whistle. Manning lost that one and got it back. Peyton Manning just had it slip out of his hands for the second time tonight. One on an attempted play fake, that one on a pass.
Well, if I'm Peyton Manning, what I'm going to ask the officials to do, especially the umpire, is to bring a towel out and cover this ball. That ball is slick and it's coming out of his hand.
Well, you know what else he might consider is we saw Tom Brady do it last week. Go to a glove. Tom Brady played the first half of the game we did last week without a glove. Had trouble throwing the ball. Went to it the second half, had a better grip. Might be something for Peyton to consider.
Second and 19. Underneath to Reggie Wayne. Ian Gold made the tackle. Reggie Wayne is really good in the slot, but when he started in the slot, he didn't like it. He said, boy, there was so much to learn. I'd much rather be on the outside, a little more comfortable, but now he understands the system.
Well, the other thing is it's the only way he was going to get on the field.
That's right.
Because you had Kadri Ishmael on one side, you have Marvin Harrison on the other. You learn to like a place to get out on the field.
Third and 14. Three-man rush. Manning, and it's dropped by Harrison. You will not see that very often.
Marvin Harrison is open. I mean, when I say open, he gets to the open spot. And Manning, take a look at where he throws this thing. Right in his hand. Look at his hand. I'll tell you, I can't ever remember seeing Marvin Harrison ever do that. Turn his head and not look at the ball into his body before he turned.
Hunter Smith with the game's first punt with only 4:33 to go in the half. Delta O'Neal drops back to the 10-high snap. And Smith hangs the punt way up there. Takes the Colts bounce inside the 5 to the 4 and down there. Brian Ligon downfield along with Cliff Crosby. A 40-yard punt down to the 4. The Denver Broncos will start from their own 4-yard line, leading 6-3 so far. Manning is winning the quarterback comparison, but Beuerlein has the only touchdown of the night. Portis to try and wedge out a little room and smashed by Larry Triplett. Beuerlein, here's Susan.
Mike, one of the advantages that Steve Beuerlein has against this Colts defense is, how do you get any film on the guy if he hasn't played in 2 years? He's one of the oldest guys on the film tonight. The Colts defense says they've only seen him in video games. Clinton Portis was just 5 years old when Steve Beuerlein made his debut in 1988. But Beuerlein points out there was more of a difference between he and Jim Plunkett when he came into the league than there is between he and Portis. Plunkett was 40 at the time.
And Susie, he can still play. Dumps it off to Carswell out near the 12-yard line. Have to reach the 14 for a first down. Mike Peterson covered him, and Jason Doring helped out.
From Indianapolis' standpoint, they've got to know that Beuerlein's really working into a fairly good breeze. So the play action sets up. You don't try and get the ball down the field very far. You dump it off underneath to Dwayne Carswell and let him do the work. If I'm Indianapolis defensively, I'm saying to myself, all right, I don't think he can fire the ball down the field 30, 40 yards. I think the weather conditions are that way, and the breeze is in his face. So I want to move a little bit closer to the receiver.
Olandis Gary comes in on third down. And Beuerlein wants to throw for it, knocked away. Nice defensive play by Macklin, and then a flag comes in late.
Well, they're going to call Mike Peterson for unsportsmanlike conduct, I think. And Mike Peterson, all he was doing, he hits McCaffrey.
Number 27. Whoa. Automatic first down.
I just saw Peterson just lay out McCaffrey. McCaffrey's coming off the field holding his arm. Here's Macklin. That's holding. That's right. But watch this. No, that wasn't a big hit.
No, but Ed always finds somebody to hit him. Marvin Harrison gets to the ground. Rod Smith gets to the ground.
And Tony Dungy, the former defensive back, doesn't like the call. Automatic first down. Portis is back in. Furlong, short set. This one popped in the air. Caught by the Broncos. That's two of those. Carswell. Dwayne Carswell came across the middle. Walt Harris knocked the ball away. And Carswell is Johnny on the spot.
You know what you're looking? You look at him heads-up football. You're talking about guys that are well coached, and these are not, I mean, drills you practice a tip drill. But watch Carswell. What happens here? That ball goes up in the air, and he's so alert. He sees it. He just catches the ball, goes to the ground.
Goes right off of Ashley Lee's chest.
Put that play in.
Portis. Ball's loose. Still loose. And it looks like Denver has covered it. The ball is obviously slick tonight in these weather conditions.
Well, here comes Portis. That ball is out. There's no question about that being a fumble.
Now watch the safety come in. He comes in, tries to make a play on it. Bashir tries to make a play on it, and it just bounces off of him.
2:01 to go in the half. And it's very close to a first down. They need to reach the 28, and that's where the ball is spotted. And it is a first down for Denver. Joe Berline gets some work as a backup. How much work, well, I'll ask you this in a minute, how much work does he get in the two-minute drill as a backup? Coming up at the half, the Kia Halftime Show with Chris Berman, the fastest 3 minutes in television, our big sticks, and the Grey Cup. We think it's cold here. Coming up on the Kia Halftime Show.
This looks like a Grey Cup game.
Yes, it does. Portis. Those triplets had a heck of a game so far.
Mike, to answer your question about how much time will Berline get, Berline gets about 25% of the snaps in practice. Mike Shanahan, as the year goes on, likes to get his backup an opportunity to get some work. So he really is arrested, but yet work backup. At his age, you don't want to work his arm too much, but he's had a chance to run the drills and everything else. Brian gets about 75% of the work.
Well, you say he's rested for 2 years. Brucey after a nice play fight, or Furlong rather. The first catch of his career for tight end Jeff Putsier.
And we have a flag back here holding on Denver, so it's all coming back, boys.
Putsier makes a sensational catch, and the rookie from Boise State is denied.
Still doesn't have a catch.
No, he doesn't.
Dropped one last week, had a shot at it. They run the play action fake again. They run the play action fake and give Putsier a chance to be able to run across the formation. Good weather for crossing formations. Number 88, tight end, goes to the corner. You see Rod Smith coming in. Look at this throw and catch.
He beat David Gibson, and Berline put it on the money. Now 2nd and 17 after the penalty. Back to the ground with Portis. And you can sense Denver thinking right now? Don't make the big mistake keeping your own territory.
I'm going to tell you one thing that's going to happen in this game. The Denver Broncos aren't going to be able to run the ball as much as they thought they would.
The Colts use a timeout and stop the clock at 101. 6-3 with 1:01 to go. First half of play.
Well, the reason I said that I think Denver will be able to run the ball as much tonight as they thought they could is because this Colt defensive line and linebackers, all they're doing is just flowing with the offensive line, and they're all staying in their lanes.
3rd and 13. Burline, short set, quick pass. He's got it complete. And a flag is down. Ashley Lee, the young man from Hawaii, going without sleeves. What does he think?
Offensive pass interference on Ashley Lee.
Well, you hardly ever see this called on a wide receiver in this league. He's up top. He's up against David Macklin. Oh, that's a bad call.
Oh, it sure is.
Terrible. He did not extend his arms to gain space away. They locked up into one another. I mean, Macklin had his arms equal length as Lillee's. That's a bad call.
Joe, the thing about it is that Macklin, he knows he can hit the receiver within 5 yards. So what is Ashley Lee supposed to do? Let him hold him for 5 yards?
Oh, yeah. Here's my chest. Put your hands on it, and I'll run with mine straight out.
I think that's a terrible call.
That's a horrible call.
He certainly did not push off to get space. Now it's 3rd and 23.
Denver's, Indianapolis still has 2 timeouts.
Empty backfield as Gary goes in motion. Burline underneath. Rod Smith gets to the 25, and that will bring on the punting team. And Indianapolis uses its 2nd timeout. Next Sunday night at 7:30, join Chris Berman and Tom Jackson for NFL Primetime, and then stay with us because Warren Sapp and the Bucs go to New Orleans to take on Aaron Brooks and the Saints on ESPN. Sunday night football at 8:30. That one is going to be a beauty.
They took care of Green Bay today, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And how about the Cleveland Browns beating the Saints in New Orleans? Aaron Brooks had a real tough time when he got in the red area, which he really suffered. Last year was a problem for him. A couple interceptions thrown down there. Ball gets away from him. This is the way the NFC South is shaping up. Everybody thought Tampa would run away with it, and they're pretty strong. Atlanta and Michael Vick. What a... Michael Vick could be, if they continue to do this, he could be MVP of the league the way he's playing.
Got a whale of a year.
New Orleans is at 7-4.
Tampa with the best record in football.
Yeah, Michael Vick is probably as a quarterback faster than any running back in the National Football League.
Mike Noor, the new punter who replaced Tom Ruin, is on the kick to Walter.
Bad kick. Bad.
And Walter, dangerous, took it on the second bounce and then lost the football. Mike Anderson on special teams hit him. And it looked like Ian Gold got the recovery. What a mistake by Walters.
Walters missed it, but Lenny Walls, the rookie from Boston College, watch number 35 come in. He's gone. He is gone. Whoa, I thought I was gone. No, I'm not. And then Ian Gold comes in and picks it up. Now, both of those timeouts that Indianapolis called to try and gain field position will now work against them. Denver has 2 now.
Well, you don't expect your punt returner to make a mistake like that.
Mental errors will kill you. And that was a mental error.
Big break for Denver. Can they take advantage?
You've got to think that Rod Smith becomes a primary target down in this area.
Burline tipped. And incomplete.
I don't know if Ed McCaffrey would have been able to catch it anyway. Burline, you want to talk about a rifle. I mean, he fired this thing in. Ed McCaffrey's coming across the middle. And Burline said, sorry. What's this throw? You think he could have caught this? Here it comes. Bing.
That's behind him.
Yeah, behind. High.
if nothing else, he's got a stubbed finger on his left hand.
30 seconds on the clock. 2nd and 10 for Denver. Colts show blitz and come with it, and it's a wide receiver screen incomplete to Portis. Well, they picked a good play to call against the blitz, but it didn't work. Let's go to Susie.
Well, Mike, obviously the conditions down here are pretty bad. Wind, the snow is fairly heavy, and the field very slick. But nobody, at least here on the Broncos sideline, and they certainly know what they're doing in the snow, have bothered to change their cleats. They came out with 5/8, the biggest they can go in 3/4. They might make some changes at the half, but right now, staying as is.
Susie, actually, it's pretty nice up here in the booth.
I tell you, we have an all-time first, the record. Susie wearing a hat for the very first time in her life.
3rd and 10, they blitz again. Furlong hit by Morris, and Morris picks up the sack, his 5th of the year. Lionel Dalton was the first guy, though, to put the pressure on, and Morris comes through and got the sack.
4th down.
Stop the clock with 9 seconds left.
Indy took their final timeout.
Well, what they're looking for is an opportunity for a punt block. Why not? The weather conditions are bad. Maybe the ball's a high snap. Who knows?
Well, if I'm Denver, I run a play. I don't punt it.
The Broncos and the Packers squared off in a colossal blizzard back in 1984. Green Bay fumbled on their first 2 plays from scrimmage, and each time the Broncos recovered and returned the fumble for a touchdown. The only time that's ever happened. And then Denver hung on to win 17-14. That was Tom Jackson doing his victory sprint across the snowy field.
Did you see how fast Tom Jackson was then?
Let me tell you, Tom Jackson was he was a part of what I think was the best linebacking core. He, Randy Gradishar, those guys were unbelievable. Of course, Gradishar, in my opinion, is one of those guys that belongs in the Hall of Fame. Not too many Broncos have had that privilege and that great honor bestowed on, but certainly Randy Gradishar, in my opinion, ranks right up there with the great linebackers that have played this game.
That Orange Crush defense was spectacular.
Yeah, they're going to run the ball here on 4th down. There's 9 seconds left to go. If they can spot everything, the Colts won't get any time.
Olandis Gary. 2 seconds, they'll stop the clock there, and the Colts would have a chance for a Hail Mary if they want to try it.
Peyton Manning was leaving the field. He's got his coat on, and he was gone. Whoop, he's got to come back now.
Come back, take a snap, and in you can go.
Peyton was almost in the locker room.
He was just blame him. He was surprised that they didn't.
Well, take a knee and go home.
Time for one play. Harrison with 4 catches tonight. It is not a good sign for the Colts that they're probably going to be down going into the locker room. They've lost the last 16 games when they're behind at the half. That is the longest streak in the NFL.
Certainly handling the football in the second half will be a premium.
Let's go to Susie with Mike Shanahan.
Mike, the Colts going with a lot of that short stuff, but are you fairly satisfied with the way your defense has stood up?
Well, initially we gave up a couple of 3rd downs, I think 3 in a row, but the conditions right now are pretty tough. So ball control, not turning over, I think will be the key to the game.
I'm going to show you this Steve Berline touchdown to Rod Smith. How impressed are you with Steve?
Well, Steve did a good job stepping up in the pocket, giving Rod a chance to come across the formation. He's a veteran player. I'm glad we got him.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Susie. Our score here at Invesco Field, 6-3 Broncos. Now let's join Chris Berman for the Kia halftime show. Winter has arrived in the Mile High City, and Peyton Manning is the worst for it. 2 first-half fumbles, 1 on a fake handoff, 1 on a pass. Denver has the lone touchdown and a slim 6-3 lead. Moments ago, Susie Calder caught up with Tony Dungy.
Tony, they're doing a good job against your offense. How do you get Peyton and company going?
Well, we're actually going well. We just got to hang on to the ball. We've had a couple of fumbles that have killed drives, so we just got to handle the ball well in the second half.
How about stopping Steve Berline?
Steve's had a good day. They're throwing his short in routes, and we've got to do a better job of that, maybe mix a little more zone in there in the second half.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, Susie. 6-3 as we start the third quarter. Reuben Drones waits at the 3-yard line. Vanderjack to kick it away for the Colts. Drones on the run from the 13. Across the 30. First half, a defensive ball game. Obviously, the conditions are going to play a part in this. You raised the question about Peyton Manning wearing the glove. He's not going to, is it?
No, he doesn't. I mean, that's not what he does. I really think the biggest thing he has to be concerned with is sticking the ball out there in play action. We already saw one squirt out. I think that's a concern of his.
Well, Bill Polian came up to the booth at halftime, and I asked him would he use a glove. He said he never has used a glove, and he will not do it now.
As meticulous as he is, you wouldn't think if he had not practiced with one that he would win one in a game. Portis cuts it outside, barely tripped up, now a flag down. As Portis dives to the 42, could have been a hold on the outside. And it is.
Holding, number 87, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Ed McCaffrey, the wide receiver, and this team is known for its excellent downfield blocking by its wide receivers. That time they got McCaffrey with a hold instead.
Coaches never will agree.
Oh, never. It's a spot foul, so it's 1st and 14. Drones and Anderson, their big backfield. And Anderson will get the carry. Boy, nice job by Morris. He just flew across the formation to make the tackle. Here's our game track. Peyton Manning lost one fumble. He's thrown for 111 yards in the first half in the snow. And Marvin Harrison, 4 catches, 93 on the season. But Steve Berline had the only touchdown pass of the half. Also threw a pick. And Denver has a 3-point lead.
And in this weather here, you don't stop throwing the ball. Throw it up.
I think you have an advantage. You don't want long yardages, but I think you have an advantage throwing the football because you know where you want to go, and the defense doesn't.
Colts jump offside. Free play for Berline. Over the middle, McCaffrey. Midfield. Out of bounds, shy of the 40.
Oh, man. I'll tell you, this is such a great play. But Rob Smith makes a sensational block at the end of this play. Here comes McCaffrey. Now watch who's going to appear into this picture is number 80. Right there, he gets 2 guys on a block. Here he comes, number 80, Rob Smith. Watch this. Bang, bang.
Gets Bashir and Walt Harris.
Isn't that great?
You said he would appear in the picture, and then Bashir disappeared. And Bashir is the injured Colt. 13:40 to go, third quarter. Denver in Indianapolis territory. You know, you think of Denver being in the West, but they're only 350 miles west of the center of the United States.
Yeah, where it's snowing.
Yes, it is.
It's snowing 350 miles west of the center.
Berline with time, and a diving catch made it to 25. Scotty Montgomery with only his 4th catch of the year.
Steve Berline, like Peyton Manning, very effective from the pocket, uses play action. Scotty Montgomery working against Walt Harris. Obviously, Harris can't jump anything because of the field conditions. Montgomery goes down for the ball. Nice spiral. I love quarterbacks that throw spirals. I mean, to me, that is such a key to accuracy, being able to throw a spiral.
Aren't they supposed to?
Well, yeah, but a lot of them don't.
split backfield on first down from the 20. And Drones. Tough run down near the 10. Reuben Drones, the 3-year man from Oregon.
The Denver Broncos offensively have built their line on the ability, and Paul, you alluded to it before. They really keep stretching you to the sidelines. They want to take you out to the sidelines. And a real staple of what they do is get you going and then cut back. You're not going to be able to cut back on this field. And what we've seen the Broncos do is once they decide to try and take it outside, the backs are just hitting it hard with all the speed they can to get to the corner.
When you saw a nice block by Steve Herndon, who pulled out at 305 pounds. Portis is back in there, breaks a tackle. Portis, touchdown.
The Indianapolis Colts told us yesterday, if they all don't get to the spot they're supposed to be in, there's a breakdown. Watch what happens right here. There is a breakdown. Gibson doesn't get where he's supposed to be. He's a safety. The hole is open. Portis scores a touchdown.
And now Jason Elam, who missed his first extra point since 1993 on the first score, will try to start a new streak, and they'll whistle the play dead.
Prior to the snap, false start, 86 offense. 5-yard penalty. We'll retry.
Patrick Hape flagged for motion. And now Elam is going to have to clear another space on this field, which is rapidly becoming covered with snow. It's a 25-yard point after. And Elam is true on this one. Clinton Portis with the big run of the night for the touchdown. The Broncos at full gallop in the last drive, and Portis went the last 10 yards to take a 13-3 lead. It is cold in Denver.
And you can bet it's not a favorite time of year for Clinton Portis. He likes warm weather.
Walters from the 6. Near the 30. Dragged down from behind by Willie Middlebrooks. And there are markers down. And this will push the Colts back.
Holding number 54 of the receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Donnell Thompson called for the hold. So the Colts push back to their own 20. Peyton Manning finds his Colts offense down by 10. We're in the third quarter from Denver. The conditions tonight have certainly played a part in this game. Marvin Harrison with a drop. Walters with a bad decision. And then a muff on the fumble. Bashir couldn't recover that one. Manning has dropped 2. Colts start from the 20. And another drop. Right in the hands of Joe Dean Davenport, who's been out since the third game with a bad shoulder, and Manning hit him right on the numbers.
Well, you know, look at Manning's looking at him, and he said, you know, I can't throw the ball any better than this, and the ball hits you right in the chest. This is the second time we've seen he took his eyes off the ball. You've got to look it in these conditions. You have no margin for error.
Well, the other thing is you're wearing sleeves, so you don't have the same feel as not having those long sleeves have the ball slide through.
5 drops for the Colts on offense. James nowhere to go as Mobley plugged it up, and Gold made the tackle along with Wilson. Let's go to Susie.
Well, Mike, how about a little check on how the two running back buddies have stacked up against each other tonight? The same number of attempts. Portis has the edge in rushing yards, but James has been a big part of the passing game. You know, when Portis considered coming out early out of for the University of Miami, the first guy he called was Edgerrin James. He still calls him every week for advice.
Imagine the second guy he called was his agent. 4 wide receivers for the Colts. Price putting on the pressure, and the pass caught by Harrison up at the 33-yard line. The 5th catch of the night for Marvin Harrison. He's closing in on that 100 mark for the year.
You know something else, Michael, when you look at him, Marvin Harrison, he never or rarely takes a hit. Watch this catch down. I mean, he knows where the first down marker is. He catches the ball. You don't get a hit on him.
As opposed to Ed McCaffrey, who has, like Mike mentioned, should be wearing a big bullseye. Everybody hits it.
Big 3rd down conversion for the Colts there to keep the drive going. James. Big hole up the middle, and Edgerrin James tiptoes to the 46.
You know, obviously, you know, they can cut back a little bit because he stops. He actually almost stopped, and then he cut back to his right.
You're right, Paul. He doesn't necessarily, you see, he doesn't really cut back. He just sort of lets his offensive line move everybody out of the way and really go straight up the field. Now, this field is heated underneath, so the coils are underneath, keeping the field so it doesn't freeze, and pretty good footing.
Manning with time gets it out to Davenport. He's to the Denver 45. So what you're saying is the field might not freeze, but the players could.
They probably are a little chilly right now, but the field, I think you'll be able to get your spikes in it and should be able to cut fairly well.
You just saw Davenport. He was going to be an integral part of this offense. They let Ken Dilger go, and Marcus Pollard was the receiver. But without Davenport out injured, Pollard's had to do more blocking and hasn't been involved in the pass offense for Tom Moore.
And there you saw Tom Moore, who has had a lot of great receivers that he's coached.
James. Just swallowed up by Monsanto Pope, the rookie from Virginia, a 7th-round draft choice.
Talking about Tom Moore, he has Marvin Harrison here in Indianapolis, Herman Moore in Detroit when he had the record-setting years. Tom Moore was the coordinators. Of course, in Pittsburgh, you had John Stallworth and Lynn Swann. Had a couple there. Minnesota, Chris Carter, Anthony Carter. I mean, and the thing about him, it isn't the fact that he's had talent like Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison. He really gets a lot out of him. He knows how to utilize those guys and what they do very well.
It's one of the reasons Tony Dungy kept Tom Moore as the offensive coordinator. His track record of success and the fact that Dungy has known him for a long time. And we asked Peyton Manning about his relationship with Tom Moore and how it affects what he does on the field.
Before every game, Tom, he kind of tells me what he wants to start the game with, what he's thinking, but he always says, hey, Peyton, if you see something out there, go with it and don't think twice about it. And I love that relationship with him. I mean, I've made some good calls, and he said, good job. And I've made some bad calls, and he's never, you know, said, hey, you know, what'd you do that for?
Not very many bad calls on the part of Peyton Manning. 3rd and inches, and James lowers his shoulder and gets the first down for the Colts.
When was the last time that Peyton Manning ran a quarterback sneak? College?
He's big enough to do it.
I know he's big enough, but
but he's also smart enough
not to do it.
And I think this is a terrific place on the field for some type of if you like a gadget play, this is the perfect spot to call it, or else take it up the field somehow.
Go in the middle of the field.
Play action by Manning. Has time deep over the middle and incomplete. Intended for Pollard, and Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, who has tremendous speed for a big guy who was covering.
It's a good opportunity, good place on the field to take a shot, and that's exactly what the Colts did. You run a little play action to try and hold the backers. What you do is you run the play action up the middle, and then you see if you can get Pollard right down against the linebacker. Hard to see a little bit because of the snow on the field, but you get the general gist. There's the play action. Terrific job by Al Wilson. He has been bailing out to the middle of the field a lot tonight.
2nd and 10 for Peyton Manning. Three-man rush. Day to look, throws deep, incomplete. Intended for Ismail. Threw it into double coverage. The safety came over to help. Denard Walker and Izell Reese back there together.
If you're holding the ball that long to try and throw it up the field, you're going to give safeties an opportunity to be able to make a play. One of the other things, too, is Peyton Manning very seldom stares down where he wants to go. It's a half roll. Now watch as he looks back. He just stays all the way to the left. Normally he tries to look a safety off. He just stayed with the receiver all the way on that.
3rd down and 10. Manning over the middle. Harrison with a catch at the 22.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Al Wilson almost played this thing perfectly. And you want to talk about a perfect pass. Watch this throw. And number 56 for the Denver Broncos, the linebacker, watch where he is. He's right in front. They got him from behind, and the pass can't be any better. Here comes Al Wilson. Look at this. He knows that Marvin Harrison is coming across the middle. How close can you cover?
Evidently not close enough.
Another big 3rd down conversion for the Colts. They've done it all night. Still, they have only 3 points. Blitz coming, and James slashes it. Edger and James and Kenoy Kennedy comes up and just rips it. Kennedy, one of the hardest hitters around. Boy, just fearless. He'll go after anybody.
Well, watch it. He catches him right here. Edger James turns, bang. You're talking about a running start from about 12 yards.
Didn't even see him coming.
No, I'll tell you what. Edger and James holding on to that ball. That's incredible.
Well, when you hear those pads click like that.
Well, I think those were teeth. Those were teeth.
Wasn't Kenoy Kennedy the one that hit Chris Chambers in the Miami game? Put him out.
Manning looks left, throws back right to Harrison. He's got the catch at the 12. Finally, somebody touches it.
Mike, I talked about Marvin Harrison. And when you watch this coming up, watch how many hits he takes. Marvin Harrison to the outside, short, no hit. Marvin Harrison inside, down, no hit. Marvin Harrison back to the outside, watch it, boom, up in the air, no hit. And here's another one. Marvin Harrison catches the ball, down. You know, you'll never get hurt doing that.
And that's why I think he can play a long, long time. He just doesn't take the physical punishment other receivers do.
And there is a timeout been called by the Denver defense, as Peyton Manning has engineered a very good drive until now, as they have reached the Denver 12-yard line. And Kennedy looks like he has a nosebleed.
He lost his helmet on the tackle. That, I'll tell you, Kenoy Kennedy is one tough guy.
Well, as cold as it is, it ought to coagulate quickly.
Yeah, it should.
Put your face in the snow.
Manning changed the play, gives it to James. Trevor Price right there to wrap him up. Trevor Price is on the way to the Pro Bowl again. He's been there 3 straight years as a tackle. Now one of the best ends in the league.
He's playing defensive end, and look at the stunt move they have. Chester McLaughlin goes outside. Trevor Price comes inside. Edger James loses a yard.
I think that's as good as a sack. I mean, I know he has 8.5 sacks, but to me, that kind of a play is as good as a sack.
Harrison. Between the 7 and the 8, Ian Gold made the tackle. 8 catches for Harrison. He's up to 97. The league leader in catches, the league leader in yards. Here's how he compares with Jerry Rice. Only 818 catches behind. Of course, this is only his 7th season. And Jerry Rice has played since the football was shaped this way.
And he's still playing.
And he's still playing. He's still doing it. Another huge 3rd down for the Colts. James. What a nice call by Peyton Manning. Got him down near the goal line. It will be 1st and goal.
It's the same thing we talked about earlier in the first half. 3rd down and 5s, obvious passing situations. These are audibles by Peyton Manning. This is what they do. Spread him out and let him pick and choose where he wants Edge to go.
And you don't see teams running it on 3rd and long anymore, ever,
No.
unless it's a draw.
Because the coach is in charge of calling it, not the guy on the field that can see the defense better.
2 tight ends in the block. Jim Finn, 36, the blocking back.
And he is not going to ever get the ball.
Mungro gets his first carry of the night. They say he stopped short. Mungro ended up in the end zone.
This is a horrible call.
Wait a minute.
This is a horrible call by this official.
I would have, I tell you what, you can look at this thing.
No, because they'll say the whistle blew, Paul. It wouldn't make any sense. But this is a bad call.
Does the ball cross the line?
Yeah.
Yes.
Once. Now here. Now it's across it again.
Here comes Mungro. Watch this. Is the ball over? Yes, the ball is over.
I mean, that is...
Oh, that is some call.
I don't know how you can mark the ball that far off the line if it's not in. I mean, that's just a bad... Yeah, I agree with you, Peyton.
Bob McElwee is going over to see Tony Dungy. You know, they're going to tell him, if the whistle is blown, it's over, boys. I don't think... You cannot replay it if the whistle is blown and he's blown down.
Can't challenge it, right?
Can't challenge it.
This is a good angle to see it from, too.
See, if that ball were in his right hand, then I could understand it. But if the ball was in his left hand, it went over.
Well, here's the other thing, too, is they usually let the runners fight for the extra yards in short yardage and goal line situations. It isn't the first contact where they're blown dead.
As you pointed out, the first time it looked like he got the ball.
He got in there both times. They're only going to give him nothing. Now they're going to review it.
The rule is, Joe, you can always check to see if the ball went over the goal line before the whistle.
Good.
All right, now look at this ball. The ball is in his left hand. Here's the ball hit the plane. He's crossed the plane. They push him back. They got to give him a touchdown.
Well, Paul,
the nose of the ball breaks the plane.
It just has to touch it.
The whole ball was over that big white line.
Remember, it only has to cross the front part of the goal line.
If it touches it, it's over.
A little bit of touch.
That's it. It's over.
But by the length of a football, it looked like he had that one in, and then obviously he was in when he fell.
And I believe that should make Tony Dungy a little bit happier once he sees it. There you go.
Touchdown.
Touchdown.
Very nice, guys.
After the review.
That's a great job by the officials.
Touchdown.
It really is.
Indianapolis.
And an excellent job by the Colts of making the challenge.
Before the kick, you brought up a good point, Michael did, about challenging. When you challenge and you win, you're only allowed 2 challenges. If you challenge and you win, you shouldn't lose the chance to challenge twice.
I think you ought to be able to keep that challenge, but you do.
I don't agree with that. I think that it would make games longer, and if you'd wind up with 4 or 5 challenges. I think 2 is a good number, and the way they handle it right now is good.
Vanderjagt for the point after. It's a 13-10 game. And the Colts drive the length of the field to make it a 3-point contest. The Colts right back in it after an 80-yard drive that took more than 9 minutes. And an 80-yard drive in this kind of weather is quite an accomplishment. Drones the deep man and takes it on the run at the 6. Drones, 40. Midfield, taken down at the 40-yard line after a 54-yard return. Nick Harper had to make the saving stop.
You know, the way this thing happened is the Colts went down and they stopped. They got in a catching mode instead of a playing mode.
3-point game to Denver with great field position. Great ball game from the Mile High City where the Broncos are clinging to a 13-10 lead over the Colts. Denver starts from the Indianapolis 41. Play action by Furlong. Over the middle, intercepted, thrown right to Mike Peterson. Peterson on the return. Still on his feet. Blockers in front, and Peterson down to the 20-yard line. A 52-yard interception return. The second pick tonight for Furlong.
I'm going to tell you something. Peterson does, but Walt Harris, number 21, gets 2 blocks on this thing. Which is amazing is the way the defense convert to offense as soon as the pass is intercepted.
Mike,
all right. Here comes Peterson. 52. Now watch 21 on the left-hand side of your screen is going to be Walt Harris. There he is. Boom. Half block. Watch this on a tackle. He gets another piece. But, you know, watch how they just convert. They convert to offense. They turn upfield. That puts some of these guys on their offense.
the Colts wearing white jerseys in the snow made it, I think, hard for Furlong to find them.
The second turnover for Denver. Manning looks weak side and then throws late and caught by Ismail inside the 10.
Mike Peterson in the perfect spot comes up with his 3rd interception. And Furlong throws his 2nd interception. One he tried to force, that one again. I just don't think he saw Peterson at all.
Furlong playing for the injured Brian Greasy. Hurt a week ago, came off the bench, threw 2 passes, both for touchdown.
They expect Greasy to possibly be ready to play next week against San Diego.
And Shannon Sharp should be back soon as well. James, room off the left side. And Walker saved a touchdown. There's a flag down. May have also gotten a face mask.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see who they call the face mask on, because I think Edgerrin James might have grabbed his. Not that they would call, but I've seen some things called on offensive players here.
Well, they call it on a defense.
A running back can give a stiff arm and hit a guy in the face, but he can't grab it.
Well, wait a minute. Now, they both grab. Walker grabs first. See, look, Edgerrin James's hand is open. It's wide open on the face mask. It's not grabbing. Walker grabs it.
I think Bob McElwee's mic is frozen. Haven't heard from him on the last 3 calls. It's a 1st and goal for the Colts. 2.5 yards away from taking the lead. Manning play fake. And throws it away. Excellent coverage by Denver.
One of the big things down here for a quarterback, you see a lot of fumbles occur in this area because the center has to reach and try and block tackles or linebackers. The single most important thing that Peyton Manning can do here is once he takes the snap, as his hands start to move, you ride the center as far as you can till you get the ball. And you're going to see Peyton Manning keep 2 hands on the football, as he did here and has with his play action now in the second half.
Edgerrin James, the deep man in the backfield. He'll get the carry. James picks his way, touchdown. And the Colts have taken the lead thanks to the interception and the big return by Mike Peterson.
Well, you know, when you watch Edgerrin James run this for this touchdown, you know, it's great vision. Because watch what he's doing. He's going wide first. No, can't go there. And here's the opening right there. And then Peterson is the guy that got the interception. All worthwhile.
Vanderjagt for the point after to make it a 17-13 game. And he converts. So the Colts, first place in their division against the first place Denver Broncos. And it's 17-13. Edgerrin James now with 99 yards in total offense. The Colts have stuck with the run. 21 carries for James.
You know, it's amazing, Joe, that for 42 minutes and 11 seconds, the Colts, no touchdowns. In the last minute and 34 seconds, too. That's staying with the game.
The other thing, those 5 receptions that Edgerrin James has all came in the first half.
That's right.
He's not caught the ball in the second half, but they've taken up his running load a bit.
Now Beuerlein will have a chance to redeem himself for that last pick that set up the touchdown. Drones again deep, and Tony Dungy, the former head man of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, trying to win a big game on the road. A swift kick taken by one of the up men, Dwayne Carswell, the tight end, and he advances it near the 45. Let's go to Susie.
Well, Mike, we know that with this Colts team, it was always about the offense. Well, Tony Dungy has been hammering a point home since training camp. He said, don't get too involved about the score. Don't ever get into a panic mode. Well, it's been tough to convince them of that, but Tony stressed to them, the defense can hold their own. We saw that on the last series. The defense comes up big. Finally, for the first time, offense and defense are working together on the Colts team, and it's a great thing to see.
And Susie, if this defense continues to improve the way they have in the last 4 or 5 ball games, you better watch out for the Colts. We know they can score points. Anderson, who shifted to fullback this year because they drafted Clinton Portis.
Susie was talking about that Colts defense and saying, hey, look, we'll get there. They sure have. This is Beuerlein early in the game, scrambling around. He gets pressure from Bratsky, and David Gibson winds up with the pick. Now Mike Peterson right in the perfect spot, and then shows his running back abilities after that.
Look at the turnaround. Over 30 points a game is what they allowed last year, down to 18 this year. They've cut the passing yards down by 56 a game. Beuerlein short set and throws behind Rod Smith, who was open at the 46.
But let me ask you a question. Yesterday, we sat down with Tony Dungy. Have you ever known anyone any calmer than he is?
No.
And I'm not talking about, you talk about laid back. Here's a guy, he said, we're patient. Things are going to happen to us. We need some pieces, and we're going to get them. But the way these guys are playing now is okay.
He is coaching like a coach who has the confidence of someone who can build a program, not someone who is coaching that feels like maybe next week will be the last opportunity to coach a team.
Well, he did it at Tampa Bay before he got there. They were just dreadful.
He and Joe Polian was an excellent pair, don't they ever?
Beuerlein spears the high throw under a lot of pressure, completes the pass, but very short, and a solid tackle by Jason Doring on Rod Smith.
Well, I'll tell you, Rob Morris, the middle linebacker on a blitz. I mean, he's the guy that forced Beuerlein to throw early.
Time running out here in the third quarter, and you've got to hand it to the Colts defense. They have come on strong and done quite a job tonight. And the Broncos are going to let time expire, and that's the end of the third quarter. Colts 17, Broncos 13. The snow is falling in Denver, a quarter to go, and Peyton Manning has led his team to a 17-13 lead over the Denver Broncos as Denver gets ready to punt it away. And if the Colts can win this game, it would be their 3rd straight win. And they've got to give a lot of the credit to their defense. You haven't been able to say that for a long time.
No, it really is kind of neat. And they all agreed. Tony Dungy came with his defense from Tampa. They bought into it. It was easy for them to do that.
The funny thing is they're not playing the type of defense that Tony Dungy played in Tampa yet, because they're not comfortable with it. Usually a lot of cover 2. Corners up, safeties back.
Walters makes the fair catch after a 34-yard punt, and here is the import for Indianapolis. They win this game tonight. They go to 7-4, a game over Tennessee in the AFC South.
And they get to travel to Tennessee in 2 weeks. Peyton Manning's first chance to go back and play in the state of Tennessee as a professional, which would set a huge game up for them.
He certainly built a tremendous fan base as a volunteer.
Houston beating the Giants today. Dom Capers and his football team, young David Carr doing a good job learning.
And picking himself up.
Well, staying alive is the first thing he should be congratulated for.
1st and 10 for the Colts. James stretched out and gets nothing. Right now, are you thinking of, let's try to add some points, or is your first focus, let's not do anything stupid?
My thing is keep doing what you started to do. For 45 minutes, don't quit doing it now. And Peyton Manning, don't change anything.
My thing is, where is Marvin Harrison?
Right now,
I don't want to just go to him when I need him. I think I have to include him in this offense a little bit more. But look.
Denver shows blitz, but they only come with 4. You asked where Marvin Harrison is. He's at the 35-yard line with the football.
See, what the Colts are, or what the Broncos are doing is they've got the corners up on the face of the receivers. There's Poole. But what happens when he gets by, he really doesn't this time. He just jumps and makes a nice play. But with the corners up so often, you see that the safeties then wind up having to play Marvin Harrison. That's really a mismatch. The way the Broncos want to play it is go press man and let the guys in the back help out.
9 catches for Harrison, and another 3rd down for the Colts. They have been spectacular converting 3rd downs tonight. James on a quick count. Fumble, lost the ball, and the Colts got it back.
Heads
Adam
up play.
Meadows. Boy, heads up indeed. Dove forward to get the ball after James got the 1st down.
You know what you find? You find everybody on your football team more alert in a game like this with the snow or in the rain and the mud. And Adam Meadows, look at how alert he is. He sees the ball, he gets to it. Don't take anything for granted.
This is amazing to me. The Colts have converted 12 out of 14 3rd downs tonight. And Peyton Manning gets a lot of the credit because he makes a lot of those 3rd down calls at the line. James stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
See, and I think this is what the Broncos have to do. I don't think that Ray Rhodes, the defensive coordinator of the Broncos, can lay back and play any type of zones. He has to take some chances. Other than Marvin Harrison, I don't think anybody scares you as far as the receivers go. Reggie Wayne hasn't really had a presence. Neither is Qadri Ismail. Make Peyton Manning work. He's thrown to the wide receivers 12 times, the tight end just right, the running back. All those catches are in the first half to Edgerrin James.
And 9 of those 12 went to Marvin Harrison among the wide receivers. Play action by Manning. Good protection. Now it breaks down and Manning takes off, slides in. And the reason there's no flag is that slide was late.
We saw the way Peyton Manning has distributed the football to his receivers, running backs and tight ends. Now here's how he spread it out over the field. Really got it all over the place. Not gone deep very much. Just has thrown 5 balls over 15 yards, working the right side, which is a matchup with Delta O'Neal on Marvin Harrison. That's where he's been able to complete most of his passing.
Can the Colts continue to defy the odds on 3rd down? Manning double clutches, incomplete. Kenoy Kennedy with great coverage that time on Pollard.
I got to give credit to Ray Rhodes on that one. He did what I thought he'd have to do. He's got to bring pressure on Peyton Manning. He can't let him drop back and set and allow Marvin Harrison to work in the zone. You have to go after him, especially when the footing is this way. Make him get the ball out of his hands as quickly as possible.
O'Neal and Poole will drop back together for Denver, and Hunter Smith for only his 2nd punt of the night. Even the snaps get a little tricky now. Just got it out of there, and he goes down. And no flag.
Wait a minute.
Delta O'Neal. Hunter Smith knocks him out of bounds. A 53-yard return.
I'll tell you, Hunter Smith got hammered. Now, there was a blocker back there, and there were 2 defenders, the Denver defensive guys coming. The blocker blocked one, and the effort almost killed Hunter Smith. Here comes Delta O'Neal, and Hunter Smith does a great job because as the punter, he forces him to the sideline. That's just heads-up play by the punter, but he got hammered.
Unless the player was forced into Hunter Smith, I can't understand why there wasn't a flag. Because he went down hard. Portis. Big hole up the middle and just tripped up by Peterson. Made him stumble after he grabbed the ankle.
What you saw on that play, as well as on the punt return, is as the defenders try and break down to take a position on whoever has the ball, they can't get really good footing. So if the runner has any kind of momentum like O'Neal had on the return, or that time Portis had, they're going to wind up gaining extra yards.
2nd and 1. Portis hit in the backfield by Morris and then lunges forward and may have the first down. Let's go back to the punt and see what happened with Hunter Smith.
I'm going to show you the hole that's created. Oh, Hunter Smith just got banged.
Yes, got banged.
Nice job by Delta O'Neal, getting through, picking his way, and then trying to pick up some help.
1st and goal. Portis again. Big hole. Portis, touchdown.
Portis. This is so easy. What you do is you go to the side where they have the least amount of players. They're going to the right. Look at everybody's in the middle of the field or back to the right side of the field, so they go to the left-hand side of the defense.
Oh, and Chad Bradsky just charges down hard inside to take himself out of the play.
For Clinton Portis, 15 carries, 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Elam with the point after. Denver reclaims the lead at home against the Colts. Able to go back during the break and take a look at that punt play again, and there was no foul.
There really wasn't.
Called by the official. Walters on the short kick. Cuts it back after taking it outside to the 33-yard line.
Flag down. Duda.
Denver indicating a hold against the Colts, and that's what it is.
Holding number 98 on the receiving team during the run back. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Sam Soar to back up linebacker. 4th quarter, don't go away. It is nasty in Denver, but what a great game. The Broncos on top, 20-17. 9:21 to go in the game. Dean Davenport out of bounds. Let's check in with Susie.
Mike, I'm with Shannon Sharp. First off, what's the status report on your elbow?
Well, I came out here early today and I ran some routes and it felt pretty good. The most difficult thing is getting in my stance, putting pressure on the arm. But I'm gonna try and give it a go on Wednesday, and we'll see how it feels. I have to convince Mike that I'm ready to go for the game, and if I can do that in practice the next couple of days, I think I'll be fine for the game.
Stick with us in a second, Mike.
Thank you, Susie. From the 26. Manning changing the play. Manning now has to scramble. Runs into his own man and down at the 30, back to Susie.
Earlier in in the season, you have a handful of Super Bowl rings. You told us this team has the chemistry to go all the way. What's the progress report in Week 12?
Well, I think we just have to develop some consistency, and I think that's the toughest thing to do in the NFL, is be consistent week in and week out. I think the team that puts that together down the stretch the best, that's the team that's going to be in San Diego, and hopefully we can get it going.
Thanks, Shannon. Good luck the rest of the way.
And when Shannon Sharp comes back, he will really be a huge addition to this offense. Another big third down for the Colts. And it's caught on 3 bounces. Troy Walters had it, lost it, and got it back again.
I mean, this is a sensational catch. I mean, Troy Walters, that ball comes zipping in. Watch this. Peyton Manning throws. Here comes the ball. Up.
It's through.
Up. Back. Up.
Incredible concentration. He was the Bolitnikoff Award winner at Stanford. Had a great college career, seldom used here. And another big third down, and now Edgerrin James to the Denver 44. Biggest hole he's had all night. He rips off 18.
Did you see the way he avoided Kenoy Kennedy on that one? I mean, he goes through the hole. Okay, watch number 28 come into your picture. All right, it's me and you. Nope, you got me once, but you're not going to get me again with one of those shots.
Me and you, and then just me.
That's right.
119 yards in total offense, approaching 100 on the ground. These two teams have come back at each other repeatedly tonight. James again, nothing there this time, stopped at the line of scrimmage.
You know, the one thing that Peyton Manning said to us yesterday is that we think we can run the football, because the first thing I said was, you're going to have, if you're going to try to win this, if you're going to win this football game, you're going to have to be able to run the ball. And he said, we think we can, but we have to run it to the outside. They've had the biggest plays up the middle.
Well, for Tom Moore's offense, it's an essential part of it, or else he's not going to get a shot at a big play. He's not going to get a shot at the tight ends over the middle, because the linebackers won't respect it.
If you can't run, the play fakes mean nothing. Manning under pressure, finally gets the screen to James, and Denver was all over it. John Mobley was there, and then Monte Rieger comes out from a line spot to help out.
John Mobley plays this thing so beautifully. I mean, he's a smart, tough, fast linebacker. But watch what happens on the outside. Look who makes the play. It's Mobley. He was blocked from the back and still made the tackle.
And Monte Rieger had a tremendous reaction on that play. As soon as Peyton Manning faked the screen one way, Rieger was dropping back because he knew it was coming the other way. And Mobley's been in on 9 tackles tonight. Third and long, blitz coming. Manning, it's intercepted. Picked off by Delta O'Neal. And it looked like he had Harrison. Delta O'Neal with the defensive play of the game. Broncos by 3. Delta O'Neal just got his 5th interception and maybe his most important one of the season. And now in 27 career starts, he has had 14 picks. One of the reasons he went to the Pro Bowl a year ago. Now Denver wants to work on the clock. They start from their 18 and movement.
On the quarterback, number 11, 5 yards, first down.
Delta O'Neal puts himself in excellent position. That's Troy Walters up there in that little white area, and there's Delta O'Neal. Peyton Manning just tries to fire this ball in. O'Neal is just laying back, and he'll go airborne to make the play. He sees the break, he breaks on the ball, and then just extends himself to come up with the interception. He had one go through his hands earlier in the game. Wasn't going to let it happen again. Furlong.
and throws behind Carswell. Berline's now hit only one of his last 5 for 2 yards and a pick. He has struggled late, but Peyton Manning, 22 of 33, 188, and that big interception on the last series. He's also fumbled twice because of the weather and lost one of those.
You know what's amazing about time of possession? We make a big deal out of it. It's what you do at the time. The Indianapolis Colts have had the ball twice as much as the Denver Broncos, and they're losing by 3 points. They've had it for 36.5 minutes. Amazing.
2nd and 15 for Berline. Pressure coming, flanker screen to Rod Smith. And the Colts did an excellent job of sniffing that one out. Chad Bratsky made the play. Next Sunday night at 7:30 Eastern, join Chris Berman and Tom Jackson. They'll have NFL primetime for you. And then Warren Sapp and the Bucks go to New Orleans to take on Aaron Brooks and the Saints on ESPN Sunday Night Football at 8:30. We can't wait.
Boy, does John Gruden have that offense clicking in Tampa, and Keyshawn Johnson scoring touchdowns.
I'll tell you one thing, though. Warren Sapp, when he plays against Brett Favre, he goes crazy. they couldn't even slow him down today.
2 guys who had the ultimate respect for each other.
Simeon Rice gets in the double figures, 11.5 sacks.
3rd and 12. Berline trying to keep the drive going. Throws underneath. There's a flag down on the play as well.
Well, I think they're going to have encroachment by the defense.
The catch was made by Ashley Lilly, but they'll take the penalty and give themselves another shot on 3rd down.
Offside.
Here's Salam on
Number 93. Defense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Four minutes exactly to go in this game. Denver trying to keep the drive going. Indy needs to get the ball back.
Paul, you made a great point there. Efren Salam has done an excellent job on Dwight Freeney, keeping him away from Berline, giving him a chance to make plays.
But Dwight Freeney thought that he would have a pretty good day. The simple reason is that Dwight Freeney thinks, you know, well, here I am. Nobody knows who I am. They really haven't seen me except on film. They don't know exactly what I can do.
7 sacks. This is his 3rd straight start. He's really come on for them. Blitz coming. Berline floats it up, and it's caught. Ashley Lilly, and Berline took a shot. Hung in there as long as he could.
Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos, just talks flowingly about Ashley Lilly. There's a quick post and go. What a great adjustment to the ball. Look at him adjust to this ball. Talked about his terrific hands, and they really felt like Ashley Lilly and Clinton Portis, once they started fitting into this offense and becoming more productive, this offense would go to another level, and it has.
A new set of downs for Denver, and they'll whistle the play dead.
Prior to the snap, false start, 89, offense. 5 yards, 1st down.
What's amazing about Lilly is a high school senior. He had 9 catches, had to walk on in Hawaii. Susie, he's quite a story.
He is, and he's made some great 3rd down plays for this team. Rod Smith says, just wait till he really learns to use his body. And I talked to Ashley, and he agreed. He said he needs to work on mixing it up with the big guys, getting off the line. He said his speed helps him to recover, but when he gets jammed, he has some problems. And then especially on this team, you have to know how to block. That's what you learn from Ed and from Rod, but he's really coming along.
But you know he's going to learn how to catch because he's got June Jones as his coach over at the University of Hawaii.
Exactly.
And June just puts it up a few hundred times a game.
And you know he's not going to make many mistakes because his dad was a Marine. Anytime he made a mistake, it was time to do push-ups.
How do you concentrate going to University of Hawaii?
I couldn't. Portis, after the penalty, trying to pick his way through, and he's dragged down by a host of white shirts led by Larry Triplett.
This is a point where Alex Gibb, who comes in on Sundays and Mondays, former offensive line coach of the Broncos, in a situation like this in the game with the weather conditions, he would yell at Clinton Portis, "Don't fumble, don't fumble." Finally, at the Kansas City game, he stopped yelling at him. And he said, "Thank goodness you finally stopped yelling at me. I don't have to worry about it. You didn't remind me of it. I'm not going to put it on the ground, so just go away."
Nice hat. 20-17. Broncos over the Colts. 3:01 to go in the game, and the Colts have made the statement. This is the series they have to stop them. They started using their timeouts. Furline under pressure, and down he goes, Rob Morris, with his second sack of the night.
Don't you like what both teams are doing? First of all, I like the fact that Denver's not going to sit on it. They're going to attack you. And number two, the Indianapolis Colts came after him.
There he goes, little play action pass. Nobody blocks Rob Morris. I mean, to me, it's more of an error by the offensive line or the backs. They've got everybody out. Rob Morris just comes waltzing in untouched. Now, I don't know.
No, let me tell you, Rob does not waltz.
Okay, he came. What would you say he did? Give me another word, Marvin. I'm glad you said it, not me.
He said, if I can't play in this defense under Tony Dungy, it might be time to look for a new profession. Well, Rob, you're right where you ought to be.
I'm a little surprised that they used their timeout after this sack, because you got them back 10 yards. You save your 2 timeouts. You're still going to have the 2-minute warning, and you could use it as you try and drive down the field in bigger chunks instead of trying to hurry and rush. So I'm a little bit surprised that the Colts used their timeout in this instance.
Well, I think they had to, because they used the first one already.
Yeah.
I think you commit yourself to doing it.
But if they hadn't gotten the sack, I agree with you.
Yeah, but the thing about it is now they got it back to in a 3rd and almost 20 situation. And what you want to do now is don't let them run off. They can run off this thing almost down to 2 minutes if they wanted to.
But I think the timeouts are going to be so valuable to them.
3rd and very long. Furline with all day. Throws. Caught right at the sticks. It should be a first down.
It is.
What a throw by Furline to the 45-yard line. First down, and the catch to his favorite receiver, Rod Smith.
I remain absolutely confused to no end by coaches defensively that rush 3, drop 8, and allow a quarterback to stand back all day and allow receivers to get down the field 20 yards to pick up a first down. Look at it this way. If you bring pressure on Burline, Rod Smith can't get 20 yards down the field.
Sure. They're going to have to snap the ball before the 2-minute warning. And they do to Portis, protecting the ball to the 41. 2 minutes to go. Denver with the ball and a 3-point lead. When we're done here, but it's a 3-point game with 2 minutes to go. The Colts have 1 timeout left.
If you're Steve Burline right now, there's one thought in your mind to start with. Get the snap. Keep 2 hands on the ball.
Portis, the deep man in the eye. Portis gets the carry, and it's stuffed. And the Colts use their final timeout at 1:55. Here's the quarterback comparison. Peyton Manning has thrown for 188 yards, 1 pick tonight. Burline, 185 yards, 1 touchdown, but 2 interceptions. First, Joe, give me your impression about the quarterbacks tonight. Is it fair to judge them in these conditions? And does Burline create a quarterback controversy in Denver?
I think Peyton Manning has obviously, managed the game. A couple of things got away from him. I don't think there's a controversy here in Denver. I think Steve Burline has done the job he was brought in here to do. Win a football game when Brian Griese wasn't ready. Here in town, they're torn. In Denver, they want Burline. And it really has to do with Steve having a very outgoing, quiet, calm personality versus Brian, who's a little bit more introverted. And the people think he's just a cold type of an individual. To me, I stay with Brian Griese as my quarterback. He got you to this position except for this game. Steve Burline has done a good job. Mike Shanahan's got to feel like if we need to, we're in good shape going in for the drive and the stretch.
Well, he got Burline just for this purpose.
Exactly.
That's why the man is here.
The game on the line here, 3rd and 5. And now Burline has to use the timeout. Did not want to run the wrong play at this critical juncture.
Doesn't make any difference if he takes a timeout or not right here. I mean, this is really the smart thing to do. Don't do something stupid and screw it up. Let's just take a timeout. Let's get settled back down again.
You can tell by Mike Shanahan who wasn't in the right place.
Drones.
Reuben Drones was not where he belonged. Steve Berline sort of walked to the left or right of Mike Shanahan a little bit, let drones walk up to him and take the brunt of it. Here's a guy who doesn't play much. He's touched the ball 3 times coming into this game, and he's only caught 2 passes. Now there's another guy who has to continue to touch the football for the Colts to move on. We were talking about this division. Tennessee loses in this division. Houston wins, but I don't think they're a factor in the playoff picture.
Here's the situation, 3rd and 5. If they don't make the first down and decide to punt, which they most assuredly would, you would think, Indianapolis would get the ball back with a little over a minute to play. Oh, man. Berline to throw for it, tipped it incomplete. McCaffrey couldn't hold on.
And that baby was almost intercepted.
Yeah, but I love the call. Mike, one of the things that Steve Berline talked about regarding Mike Shanahan, he said Mike Shanahan, Norv Turner, and Jerry Rome. He said, I love these guys. I love playing for them because all 3 of them are similar in one respect, and that is they're willing to take chances. I would have to say a call like that in this kind of a game would be considered a bit of a chance.
I like the call, but that ends up being as good as a timeout for Indianapolis. It stops, only took 4 seconds off the clock.
I don't like the call. I think if you put the clock in motion.
And David Macklin did a great job against McCaffrey. And now Walters is deep. Lets it go, and it reaches the end zone just. Monday Night Countdown, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. It's the best place to get ready for Monday Night Football. Then on ABC at 9, it's the Monday Night game with Deuce Staley and the Eagles against Terrell Owens and the 49ers.
Peyton Manning has had 13 career game-winning drives, 2 this season. In overtime. Paul, overtime? And if we got to overtime, would you defer?
Gosh, can you believe Detroit did that today?
I don't.
They won the toss and deferred in overtime and gave the ball to Chicago.
Never saw the ball.
The Colts need a field goal to tie, a touchdown to win. They have no timeouts. Blitz by Denver. And Manning got it complete to Reggie Wayne. Reggie Wayne hit in bounds, did not have forward momentum, so the clock runs.
What a tackle by Kenoy Kennedy. It's little things that make such a difference. He doesn't allow Reggie Wayne to get outside. He's running about 15 seconds off the clock just by extra effort on a tackle.
Manning throws again. This time Harrison will get out of bounds, has the first down, and stops the clock.
Well, the clock is stopped. Let me just mention one other thing. If Marvin Harrison catches one more ball, that'll put him at 100. He'll be the first guy in the history of the National Football League to do it 4 years in a row.
He has 10 catches tonight, 100 yards. That puts him at 99 for 1,210 yards on the season. This is only the 11th game. Manning looks that way again and then scrambles. And Peyton gets out of bounds.
You can just sense the pressure that the Broncos are bringing on Manning. They're not giving him a chance to be able to sit back there and throw the ball down the field.
That was Monsanto Pope chasing him. Vanderjack this year 14 out of 21. In the pregame, before it really started snowing, Vanderjack hit a 53-yarder.
And he's 1 for 1 this year from 50 yards plus.
A clutch kicker who is struggling more than he ever had in his career. But they're not to where he can even have a shot at it yet. 3-man rush this time. Manning trying to run for it. Makes a move, gets to the 42. He's got another first down.
He's got it. The only problem is now the clock is moving and they can't stop it.
What?
Well, there's a penalty because the Denver Broncos didn't get enough their people off the field. They had 12 guys on the field when Peyton Manning took the snap, so they'll get 5 more yards.
Now they're going to have a discussion about this one.
12 guys on the field.
12 men and offsides.
No, that's a double dipper. They get a 25-yard penalty. No.
Offside, 93 defense. That penalty will be accepted. 12 men on the defense was also called. That penalty will be declined. First down.
Now that's a break for the Colts because it acts as a timeout for them, something they didn't have.
I still think that Peyton Manning, if they're going to come with a three-man rush, he still has time to throw one more down the middle.
I think the problem with that, Paul, though, is number 56, Al Wilson, is just getting back to the middle of the football field as quick as he can if he's not blitzing.
Here comes the blitz.
To Pollard, and Pollard low and behind him couldn't catch it. And that was another play at the line of scrimmage from Peyton Manning. You saw him go right to Pollard.
Well, he saw Al Wilson walk up on the left side, walked over to Pollard, basically said, there's no one in the middle of the field. Go for it. I'm going to you.
40 seconds left.
You have to figure that Peyton Manning's got to pick up about 25 yards.
And I'm still saying the best place to pick it up is in the middle of the field. Right there.
To the middle, incomplete, intended for Ismail, and Denard Walker batted it away.
And you still have time to throw in the middle.
Yeah, but Denard Walker's mad at himself because he felt like he had a shot at the interception. Manning waits. Walker breaks on the ball. That bounces off of Denard Walker's chest. He's on Ismail. He's just laying inside because Paul, you know, he's thinking like you are. Where they want to throw it for the biggest amount of yardage.
They did a study in these situations. If a pass is completed 20 yards downfield, it takes 10 to 13 seconds to get to the line and spike it.
Well, they've got 34.
So they can do it twice.
Manning the deep back to Harrison, overthrown. And now do or die for the Colts on 4th and 5.
See, I think now what you try and do is just pick up. You're thinking first down. First down, get to the line of scrimmage, spike it, leave yourself two more throws. He'll ultimately wind up in this time frame, I think, with 3 throws.
You remember the Brett Favre philosophy in 2-minute drills, just move the chains.
Yeah, but you don't have time in this situation, guys.
Well, you got to move them once. Puts Harrison in motion. Manning, Ismail with the catch. He got a first down.
And Kenoy Kennedy almost killed him.
Gain of 16. They've got to line up and kill the clock. And they do with 12 seconds to go. From here, it would be a 54-yard field goal try in the snow, the cold, and the wind.
What is the catch? Look at this. Now watch number 28, Kenoy Kennedy. Not there. He's just trying to take him out.
This is the problem you're faced with. If you throw the ball in the middle of the field, Mike, based upon what you said, it doesn't have to be 20 yards. Maybe they try and pick up 5 or 6. He has to go to the sidelines, but it's imperative that Peyton Manning does not get sacked.
Marvin Harrison is out to the right. They've got to respect his speed and lay off a little bit. And Manning goes that way. And Harrison couldn't hold it. They would have had 5 yards to make the try under 50.
He still got time to throw that pass again because it only took 4 seconds. But the thing about it is, just remember the last time that we were here, guys. We saw a 55-yard field goal and a 53-yard field goal.
Tony Dungy's not waiting now.
No, they're going to kick it now.
They will bring on Mike Vanderjagt. And he will try from 54 yards. One better than his career long. And in these conditions, what kind of a kick would that be as Denver takes a timeout? Boy, are you asking a lot from a guy to come out and try a career-long shot in these conditions.
What about Jason Elam's missed extra point after,
yes,
I mean, 340-something. This happened after the Broncos' first touchdown. The weather's nice. The field is green, and doink, He hits the upper
71 in a row until that one.
And the poles are very high.
Yes, they are.
And unforgiving.
The one thing that I think Vanderjagt does have in his favor is altitude. We know the ball carrier. We saw Lindo Mare and Jason Elam the last time we did Sunday Night Football with the Miami Dolphins and the Denver Broncos. One gets a shot to kick it, the other one does.
From 54 yards to tie. Got a chance. He's got it. Mike Vanderjagt from 54 yards. Are you kidding?
Here's a guy who's 4 for 9 from 40 to 49 yards. Now he's 2 for 2 over 50. Oh, and he's got plenty of leg.
Oh, Peyton Manning. Look at Peyton Manning. Is that any good? Vanderjagt, you'd have to tackle him to slow him down. Look at Vanderjagt.
And Tony Dungy.
That is the most excitement you're going to see, or I think I've ever seen out of Tony Dungy. He jumped in the air.
Vanderjagt, where'd he go to school? I believe it was West Virginia.
Great school.
They may have the 2 best kickers in the league with Sauerbrunn as the punter.
Well, they've got Hunter.
I thought I'd throw that.
Where'd you go to school?
West Virginia.
Oh,
where did Hunter Smith go to school?
Notre Dame.
2 great kickers on the Colts.
Yeah.
3 seconds left after Vanderjagt hits a 54-yard career-long field goal.
You know what's the amazing thing, and all these years it just amazed me, that the noise was so loud in here before that ball was snapped. And when that ball cleared the uprights, it was as quiet as you can imagine.
Paul, we were talking before. As a matter of fact, you mentioned it walking into the stadium tonight about 3.5 hours ago. Said overtime. Here's a situation with the conditions the way they are. When you have a choice in overtime, do you take the football? In these conditions only.
Yes.
I agree with you.
What do you think? This is Detroit?
No, I don't think it's Chicago either.
The clock doesn't start until it's touched by a Bronco.
Don't lateral it.
And it's taken by Monte Rieger, the defensive lineman. And that's it.
Big
Time
plays.
has expired. We will go to overtime.
You stay with Marvin Harrison. In the offense, the Colts continue to throw to Marvin Harrison. And
Followed by a 3-minute intermission.
And then all
First team that scores wins. 2 timeouts for each team in overtime. We play 4th quarter rules.
when they needed the play, they basically used Marvin Harrison as a decoy and get Qadri Ismail to be able to come up with the big reception and the opportunity for Vanderjagt to tie the game up.
Well, it really shows. We were talking about kickers last week. There has to be great communication between a kicker and the coach. The kicker has to go to the coach and say, 54, I can make it, 55, I can't, and the coach has to believe it.
That was one of the things that I enjoyed about being the holder. I knew the distance of my kicker.
Indianapolis, you're the visitors. You get to make the call. The helmet is the head. Please make the call before I toss the coin.
Tails.
This gentleman calls tails. It is a tail. Indianapolis has won the toss. They want the ball. What goal would you like to defend, fellas? You want to defend this goal? Okay. Indianapolis wins the toss, receives at this end.
In fact, both teams get 2 timeouts, right?
Yes.
The Colts with something of a miracle to tie. 54-yard field goal in the snow and the cold. We go to overtime. It is a picture postcard night for football from Denver, Colorado. We get ready for overtime 2020.
And if I'm the special teams coach, the one thing I do is I grab this kickoff return team because they've held on every single kickoff return. Even if you're going to miss a guy, don't even think about grabbing a guy. Make your block. If you don't, okay, that's all right. Let the runner run.
Troy Walters waits at the goal line. Mike Inor to kick off for Denver to start overtime. Bounces, and Walters takes it at the 4. Up the sideline and belted out of bounds. A crushing shot by Bertrand Berry.
Well, you know what? This goes back. You remember that third down play, Joe, where they threw the ball? It could have run off the time.
Some more time on the clock. You're right. I think it makes a difference. The other thing to consider is that when Vanderjagt made that kick, he had the wind at his back.
Right.
Now the Colts will be working into the wind, and I don't think anything over 50 yards is even possible.
Yeah, but you got Peyton Manning.
He's had a pretty good night. 25 for 41 for 215.
In this stuff, that's a brilliant night. Back to the ground for James. Ran through an arm tackle by Monroe. And got through an arm tackle by Mobley. And then Reggie Hayward made the tackle.
You know the guy that's got to be sorest after every game that they play Denver?
Yeah.
It's Kenoy Kennedy. This guy, you talk about popping your shoulders. He will really pop you.
And he gets a running start all the time, too.
Oh, after the game, he's got to be a 6'1" bruise.
He does.
2nd and 5. Manning, another adjustment. Monroe straight up the middle. Dives forward a yard shy of a first down.
What Peyton Manning was looking at is he was looking at the way the Denver Broncos were spread out to cover his receivers. So he felt like he looks at how many people are around the line of scrimmage. Can Jeff Saturday and Ryan Dean have a chance? You take a look at, see how everybody's spread out? They're spread out all over the field. Run it up in here just like he did. That's what he did.
No linebackers.
Nobody inside.
Well, they've got Monroe in again, and they got Jim Finn in at fullback.
3rd and a yard. Monroe straight up the middle. He's got a first down and more. Monroe will not stop driving, gets to the 49. And did you see the cool of Peyton Manning? All right, Reggie Wayne, I want you to come in motion. Then Wayne starts to turn around and go back the other way. No, just keep coming this way. I mean, he's got everything under total control.
He really does. And again, one thing that when we talked to Peyton Manning, and we said this earlier in the game, is that he told us, we are not trying to get to the perfect play. We are trying to get a play that's going to work for us. It doesn't have to be perfect. And he keeps doing it.
3rd and 1, you need 1.5. Monroe off the left side. Can't get away from Poole.
I'm sure some of the Indianapolis Colts fans are saying to themselves, where's Edgerrin James? Well, remember, he's ankle problem, hamstring problem, knee problem. The good thing that happened to the Indianapolis Colts is they found out that they did have another back when Monroe ran for 114 against the Eagles in Philadelphia. So they have to feel like, hey, we can put this guy in there and run the football with him as effectively as if Edge was in.
And the rookie, Ricky Williams, as well. Manning on 2nd and 10. Joe Dean Davenport to the 45-yard line. They need to reach the 41 for a first down. Wilson and goal on the tackle.
When Monroe played in the Philadelphia game, we were talking to Peyton Manning about him yesterday. He says, you know, I didn't even know he was active.
That's right.
All week long.
Nobody did.
He was on the practice squad. He said he didn't know he was active. But now you look at this game here. Peyton Manning just takes what you give him. And that's what I really like about him as a quarterback.
I also think he loves these moments. I think he relishes the opportunity to control the game in a pressure-packed situation.
And he normally comes through at these times. Quickly outside, first down and more. Marvin Harrison has hit 100 catches for the 4th year in a row. Nobody has ever done that, and Harrison is slow to get up.
No, he's tired. That's all. He's just tired. Look at this, man. I'm telling you, and I said, you know, at the beginning of the show that what he needed 11, he was going to get. I didn't say he was going to get it tonight. But when you look at this, this is record-breaking. He is the only person in NFL history to catch 100 passes 4 straight years.
And he is on a pace to shatter Herman Moore's single-season record of 123 catches. Just shatter it. Monroe again. Walker takes him out of bounds, but he gains 3 more.
The other thing about that pass play is I don't believe Peyton Manning ever even had his hands on the laces. He wanted to get out of his hands so quickly. He was in the shotgun, turned and threw it to Marvin Harrison as quick as he could. He's just holding on to the football.
Just incredible numbers from Marvin Harrison. He's hit the 100 catch mark. He's gone over 1,000 yards 4 straight years as well.
Well, Rod Smith, Denver's great receiver, number 8, he said he's the best receiver in the game.
2nd and 8. Still not in legitimate field goal range into the wind. Manning unloads, and the ball comes loose. Harrison made the catch, and they're going to say incomplete.
And it's a proper ruling. This ball is up on his shoulder. He never fully has possession of the football. It hits him in the chest, winds up going up on his shoulder, and then he hits the ground. You must make a move athletically with it. Ball's up on his shoulder.
No, never had control.
Never has control of it coming down.
You have to control the ball, get both feet down, and then make a move, or it's not a complete pass. And he never had it to begin with.
I'll tell you, these officials have done a wonderful job tonight. Bob McElwee and his crew ought to be proud.
3rd and 8. Manning changes the play, goes under center. Monroe only gets a couple. The adjustment didn't work that time. Now, if you're Tony Dungy, what do?
I punt it. I punt it back, put my defense out on the field, and I do not want to give the Denver Broncos field position on the 35-yard line.
It would be 51 yards into a slight breeze.
In overtime, they only have 2 timeouts per team.
Now, Vanderjagt and Tony Dungy are talking. Says, can you hit it 51 into the wind?
Well, they're going to start the clock, and they may wind up he's going to need to use a timeout. Take some time to think about it. I think that's the right decision.
They stop the clock with 9:29 to go in overtime.
Second.
Vanderjagt 2 for 2 tonight. Coming into this game in the worst slump of his career, he had missed 5 of the last 8.
This one will be 51 yards.
Well, you know, he's pumped, and he knows. I mean, there's no conceit in this whole thing. This game rides on this kick. He knows whether he can make it or not.
Well,
he really does, and he has the confidence to do it.
I think if he doesn't, I think that Tony Dungy has the confidence in his defense that they'll be able to stop him. You wouldn't make this decision if you didn't have some kind of confidence that your defense can get the job done as well.
Now, the 54-yarder he hit had 3 or 4 yards to spare, but as Joe pointed out earlier, that was with a slight breeze. This will be into one.
And
Mike Shanahan looking like, are you crazy?
Yeah, Mike Shanahan's thinking, I've seen this before on Sunday night. Now, neither of these coaches has won. 0-2, Dungy is at night on prime time, and Shanahan is 7-3. All 3 games have been lost, have been the night games.
52, boys.
Vanderjagt to win it in overtime from 51.
He's got it.
He made it! Mike Vanderjagt with a 51-yarder to win it after he kicked a 54-yarder to hit the overtime. Holy
What wind? Did somebody say there was wind down on the field?
What do you think about the 2 games we've done here? The Miami game, 55-yarder, 53-yarder, and then we get the same guy kick 154 and then 51. I'd have given him 52.
I guess Vanderjagt is out of the slump.
That's the way to come back.
Paul, I think you make a great point. The call that was made at the end for the Broncos, leaving the time on the clock without burning 40 seconds, really left the Indianapolis Colts in this football game.
And then, you know, really, when at the end of the game, when Vanderjagt was talking to Tony Dungy, you know, Vanderjagt, when he hit that one down there, he knew how much he cleared the body. You know how well he hit it. You know, he's the guy you got to convince him. And you got to believe in what this guy's telling you.
From now on, he can go to Tony Dungy and say, I can get 65 yards, and the coach will give him a shot at it. Let's go to Susan.
Peyton, where does this game rank in terms of a team sticking together in adverse conditions?
Well, it's one of the biggest ones, Susie, for me. I think for this team, certainly with the Coach Dungy era, a lot of things happened today. You know, Tennessee got beat, Miami got beat. This is a big game to get atop the AFC. It had a lot of importance, big game, national TV, and came down the wire and we got it done.
How proud are you of your guys? I mean, nobody gave up.
Nobody gave up. And it didn't look good there for a while. You know, they converted that third down on that third and long and then punted us deep into our own territory. But, you know, I'm not saying we were guaranteeing we were going to come back. There was a lot of confidence. We made plays. Mike had a tough game last week, bounced back this week with 2 huge field goals. And what a big win.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Susie.
Mike?
Susie, thank you. They came from 13-3 down to win it in overtime. For Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Susie Culver, and our entire hardworking ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Good night from Invesco Field in Miami. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Good night, everyone.